Well, I started out with a pattern that's just kind of simple, and I got it kind of carried away, and it got a little more detailed, and I hope it turns out the way I want it to. But this actually is just a square. I went into my silhouette software, well, more of a rectangle, made it the size I wanted it, which I wanted it at least 11 inches wide. And I made this one 10 3/4 tall. But if you're going to make this pattern yourself, it'd be really easy. Just, get you a rectangle, the size you want, and then like put you a plate or something oval up here and trace it and then cut it out. I did mine in the silhouette software, just got me a rectangle and then made an oval in there, and then I welded them together, and this is the pattern it came out with. And then this is just a rectangle, the same width as the bottom piece or the back piece, and this will be the front. And I made it 6 inches tall, and it's going to be a paper plate holder because I have one on my counter that I keep out at all times because we eat off paper plates. There's only 2 of us, and we eat off paper plates every day, probably 2 and 3 times a day. So anyways, they're on my counter all the time, but the one I have has the forks and the knives, the plasticware, we don't use the plasticware. We don't care for it. And I wanted to make one that was wide enough to hold, the little wicker basket thing for the plate holders. If we get something a little heavy, we'll use those. And I like to keep those sitting there with my plates. And also I have 2 sizes. We eat out of the probably 8-inch plates, but then you have the larger ones that we do use occasionally, not very often. We eat off the small ones. But that way, the little basket that holds the plates, the large plate, and the medium-sized plate can all fit in this. So, long explanation, huh? And so I went out to my scroll saw and I measured my wood. The same width as my bottom piece here. And then I also cut 2. This is just some scrap wood I had in the garage. My husband had brought in to me. And I cut those. And then this here will fit on top. And what I was going to do is just paint it. Maybe put something on the front. Decoupage something. No, I have a laser, so I get carried away. I like to just try to design and do other things. So, anyways, I went and I had this chicken here that I had bought off of Etsy. And then I had this paper that I bought. I might have got this off of Creative Fabrica. But I put the chicken on there, and then I printed them off together. And that will go on there. And then I took this piece and it will go there. And I'll put a little like that Excelsior stuff. I don't know. Am I in frame, guys? Let me see. That might help a little bit. Okay, anyways. Put a little Excelsior here for like a nest. And then I made this to go there, like chicken wire. And then this frame, of course, will go on there to frame it out. That bottom piece was on there enough to where there'd be a little bit of a gap to where I could put the Excelsior on there. So now all I've got to do is start painting. And I don't know, this here has some gray, some blue, and very light hint of green, not much. The chicken's got a lot of gray. And you can see just neutral colors. So I've got to figure out what color I want to do it in. So I'm going to start working on that, figure out what I want, and I'll be back. Well, I'm just going over pieces of it with some of the folk art antiquing wax. And I'm just doing the edges because I think I'm going to go ahead and paint the board Drop Cloth by Dixie Belle. And then if I wanted to stress it back, I'll have the antiquing wax behind it. And I went ahead and coated the back so it would look finished. And really, and this won't need to be this will be covered with my image. So I'll probably just go ahead and give this a coat of the antiquing wax, and the bottom. Actually, everything that is going to be antiquing wax, except I'll cover this with the drop cloth and one of these sides here with the drop cloth. The ones that'll be on the outside. So there's not a lot of painting. So I'm going to finish up the antiquing wax and then move over to the, after this dries up, go to the drop cloth. Now, while everything's drying that I've coated so far, I'm going to work on the chicken wire. And I just painted one, or coated one side with the or not the Waverly, the Folk Art antiquing wax, because I thought it would show like that, but the back I just left plain. So I am going to set that aside, and I also coated the frame, the outside frame, with the Waverly, or Folk Art antiquing wax. And now I'm just taking some apple barrel, and the color is Pavement. And I'm just going to pounce that on here. Coat that real good. And it doesn't matter whether I get the sides or not, because they're going to be covered with the wood. And I'll do this right fast and then come back, and I'm going to use some metallic paint. And now I'm just going to pounce on its Folk Art Metallic and Sterling Silver. I might go back over it with a little bit of the other, I don't know. Or blot some of this off before it dries. Okay. There's a paper towel. I don't want it all over, just here and there, because I don't want it all silver and I don't want it all the black. There, I think that looks good. Yep, that looks good. Okay, I've started with my Dixie Belle drop cloth. I'll coat this all over, sand the edges back some. I'll probably give this 2 coats. And I need to decoupage my, well, I'll have to put that together before I decoupage the picture first. I'll have to. I'm not thinking. My brain's a-going, my mouth's a-going, and I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. So I will have to put it together before I put the picture on, because I am going to use the glue and my nail gun. And that will cover up the nail holes on the front. So, and this will probably just be all, after I get the front, decoupaged, I'll glue this all down on there. These right here, these pieces. I'm going to finish this up, and if I need 2 coats, I'm going to give it 2 coats. Now, I have this little, I cut out this little piece of wood, and I went into my Silhouette software and made me a stencil to go on here. And it says self-serve kitchen, open 24 hours. So I'm going to weed this small, really small. And I'm going to have to get it up closer to me to see it. But I wanted to show you what I was going to, that I had fixed it. But I'm going to finish weeding it. I'm going to paint this probably the drop cloth. And maybe Oh, and I also wanted to show you, I went ahead while I was sitting here painting and finishing things up. I painted the sides, and I'm going to have to distress them. But I've glued this all together, so when I get finished, I can just glue it down on the board, the front of the plate holder. And maybe let's take this little sign and put it off to the side, because I don't want it to cover up the rooster or anything. So I might put it off the side. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and work on it and get it finished. And as soon as everything dries, I'm going to distress it, everything. I'm going to put a coat of clear wax on it. And then around the picture, or the back of the frame, or the back of the face to the plate holder, I want to put some wax on that and do some darker wax, the brown wax around the edges. You really can't do too much because the plates will cover it up, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to work on that. But when I get started on that, I'll show you. But I'm going to get this weeded, this little sign painted, and weed this, and let this dry, and then I'm going to stencil this on there. Well, for some reason, my video went into slow mode, and you couldn't understand what I was saying, but I'm just going to coat all my pieces with some clear wax right now. That's all. Sorry for the noise in the background. I have my laser running. I am going to take this out into the garage now and put it all together, bring it in, and put the image on the front and finish this up. Okay, I have it all put together. I used my brad nailer, and I've put a coat of Mod Podge on it. I'm going to let that dry, and then I am going to iron on my image. And I wanted to let y'all know I set up a shop on Buy Me a Coffee, because a subscriber let me know about it and said some others are using it, and they put their items on there for sale. And I can do physical items or my SVGs for my cutouts. And I've started putting things in there. I've left the link below. If you click it and it doesn't take you to my shop, it takes you to the home page. Just at the very top of the page, it says, in the middle, it'll say home and shop. Just click the shop and you can see what I have. I've put in some of my digital files, and I only think I have one physical item in there right now. I just started it. It's going to take a while. I'm putting in like my primitive house and willow tree cutouts that you can order. You can order either the cutouts themselves with the finished wood, or just the file. I'll have it for both. So I wanted to let you all know about that, because I have had questions on where to buy, and I tried to set up an Etsy shop. It didn't work. I was going to do a web page, but then, like I said, a subscriber told me about that, and I thought I'll go look at it and give that a try. So it's down in the links below, and it's called Buy Me a Cup of Buy Me a Coffee, but it does have a shop in it. So just, if it comes to my home page, just up the very top in the middle, it'll say home or shop. Click the shop and you'll go in and see what all I have. All right, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll iron this on and we'll finish it up. Okay, I've taken it out to the garage and put it all together, and I put a coat of Mod Podge down on here. I've let it dry, and I'm going to iron it on. See if I can get the hang of the ironing. It's going to be a little hanger over here, but I can get rid of that. Okay, I'm going to cover it with some Teflon. And like last time, I just started ironing on top of the print itself. I just don't know how long to keep it on there. Y'all hear that wind? I'm sure everybody else is getting it too. Took our menu sign out in town. Don't have a menu. I messaged or just put it out on Facebook. They needed to print out go to the link for the menu and print it out, or we had them at the window. Never fails. That's going to be a hunk of change for a new menu. Let's see how that done. Yeah, it's down good. We're gonna do it. Probably go on the top and sides all the way around so it doesn't just look done on this side. Well, this kind of needs some here anyway. I'm going to do this and I'll be back because it's loud. Now I can see why people like using the iron and Mod Podge dry. I mean, it's hooked on there and smooth. Now I'm going to just go over this with some clear wax real fast. And now I'm going to use some Jolie brown wax around the edges and a little in the middle. Make it blend in with that. Okay, I am going to let this dry. And then we're going to put this piece here on. And in the meantime, while that's drying, I'm going to work on my little sign. I don't want to forget to put some nest stuff in there. Okay. But I'm going to let it dry a bit before I do that. Now, I've got my stencil down on there. And I'm just going to stencil this on there. And then when I pull that off, I think I'm going to get my drill and drill 2 little holes, and I'm going to put some wire through there and see how I'll attach it to the to the chicken wire frame. Okay, that should be ready to pull off now. Okay, I'll weed the pieces I need to weed out and put a little dot of the white paint in the 4, drill my holes and put my wire on, and we'll see what I'm going to do with it. All right, I'm ready to put the finishing touches on this. This is just some, it's raffia. At the end of you get finished using, you have all these little strands when you get finished with the bag. I saved mine. And it just kind of got me some wrapped around my finger, tied it a little bit in the middle. Okay, I don't want it to hide my eggs too bad. And I'm just gonna, oh, somebody said, oh, I think I was supposed to put Vaseline on here before I turned it on. And it would stop the glue strings. And I forgot to do it. I was gonna try that. Somebody, a subscriber, left me that tip. Didn't remember. That does not want to go in there. Okay, here we go. We're going to put that down. And I don't want to hide my eggs. I want to keep this up where my frame can go down. put it up on this end too. Okay, let's see here. I put this all together. I took the piece that didn't have the top and glued the chicken wire part to that, and then glued the frame around that. Don't like that showing up right there, but it's all right. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna use some of this glue. Oh, and when I say quick hold on the glue gun, you know what I mean. I gotta make sure I get that on there straight. Right there. And that is still not going in. And I don't have time for that when you start working with hot glue. Okay. Now, push it down. I need to pull it down though. I still don't like that little piece right there. I'm gonna work on that. Just, I bet now that I have that glued, I could kind of stick some glue down in there and then cut that off. I'll let that dry, and when that dries, I'll snip that little piece off. Holy moly! Look at that. That wasted a bunch of glue. Was y'all watching that grow? Okay, I'll put the lid back on that. Make sure that's on there tight. Yep, it is. Now, I have my little sign to put on. And I went around, went around it with some wax, the brown wax. I think I want it about right there, but I have a little tiny piece of wood, round circle. Boy, it's blowing things out there bad. I hear things banging and going everywhere. A little teeny tiny piece of round circle out of one of my cuts of my laser. I got into the bottom of my laser and found it. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna try to make it look like a nail. I'm gonna stick that right there. I think I'm gonna put my sign like that. So I want a little dab of glue. So I can glue it down. Well, I didn't get that dab of glue in a very good spot. I think I did those. Yeah, I did those good. It's not going to take much because it's not going to have any wear on it or anything. And I have some paint here. I don't have a brush out, so I'll just use my finger. It's just that gray pavement color. Now dab that on the top of that to make it look like a nail. Okay, that's good. Pair of scissors, I need to clip that. Well, okay, I think that's finished. Okay, now I gotta go put my plates in it and see how it looks. I think we just lost our roof. I think it's up there. But I still have internet. My Starlink satellite's sitting up there. I'm gonna go out and see. Oh my goodness. Oh. That man is crazy. Oh dear Lord. Our roof's coming off and he's up there with, there is no way. Oh, he's making me panic. I cannot believe he's up there doing that. Oh. I'm afraid to go out there. No, I'm not going to, and I don't know what he's doing. Oh. Alright guys, I had another project I was working on, but with the wind and everything, I'm just going to give it up. I got a roof problem here on the farm, a menu problem in town, that wind's playing havoc, and I'm sure it's doing it in a lot of other places. So I'm going to stop here, and I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and until the next one, we'll see you later.